Welcome to the Content Idea Engine walkthrough. There should be the PDF download in the link below, and if you have any trouble with that, just let me know. Now we're gonna go through this worksheet, and we're gonna come up with ideas from the Content Idea Engine just to show the Content Idea Engine in action. Now this applies to many different types of businesses, many different industries. One that I'm gonna pick because it's one of the more challenging ones and at the making of this video is going to be for realtors. So let's say you're a realtor, you're wanting to attract more clients, and that's your goal, right? So let's start from the top here. Unlock infinite content ideas with our 10-step worksheet. And there's a description here that says every joke has a setup and a surprise. Use this structure in your post to utilize Utilize the three R's: relatable, relevant, and repostable to craft content ideas tailored to your brand avatar. Now, your brand avatar is your target market. It's a person that you're going after. Sometimes it could be yourself. As the old saying goes, you attract to yourself the type of person that you are, or that you put yourself forward to be. But that is a whole nother worksheet for another day. If you're interested in building a brand avatar for yourself, go ahead and shoot me a message back to where you shot me a message to get this video. Now, let's pay attention to this first part here. Every joke has a setup and a surprise. Now, your content doesn't have to be funny every single time, but there has to be that setup and a surprise, because a lot of the times people are online to either be entertained or to catch up on something new. So if your content is very predictable and it's not entertaining in some way to your brand avatar, it's not going to work, right? That's why the three R's are relatable. So you want to think of who's your viewer, right? You don't want to make content for anybody and everybody, because when you try to make content for everybody, nobody is attracted to your content. It attracts nobody. So you want it to be relatable, relevant, and repostable. Relatable to their experiences, relevant to where they're at, what they experiences, and repostable. Relevant is more of a timeline. So if it's too old or too new for the brand whether it's a certain demographic or generation, it's not going to hit. It's not going to be relevant. If it's not something they experience, it's not going to be relatable. And if it's not something that is repostable, which means they would share it with their circle of friends, then it's not going to be as effective. So let's start with number one here. I'm going to fill out a sheet on the right and the PDFs on the left. So we want to start out with the topic and the goal. So right now we're pretending I am a realtor and I'm wanting to attract home buyers. And so you start writing down what your desired result is, and or theme, whatever it might be. So if you're a coffee shop or chicken sandwich company, you're in sales, medical industry, whatever it might be, what's your desired result from your content, or what is the theme? So if there's specific promos for coffee, beverages, or certain promos in sales, what is the main theme, a message, or desired result that you want from it? So in this instance, I'm a realtor wanting to attract home buyers. Now this is important because you're going to need to, you quickly lose direction if you don't have a clear goal for your content in mind. Now we're going to the next one, in inspo gathering. Now right here it says we're able to find inspiration online. Search platforms like Vimeo, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Behance, TikTok. Of course, one of the ones will also be AI. So you could ask ChatGPT. You can ask any of the AI. There's several of them out there at this point. Bing, I know, has one now too. So you can ask on there, give me ideas for this or that. Here's what I will say about AI so far. It is a great starting point, but you do not want to copy paste ideas from AI. One, it's very likely a lot of other people have done that and it's no longer original. And two, you might have not fed it enough information for it to even give you something unique. It might just give you something standard, something generic, or something just way too broad, right? So go ahead and take some time and write down some inspiration. I'm going to come back with a few links that I have found. This is a part where this document might take a while. If you sit down and try to come up with new ideas, whether, again, if it's a short film, an article, you're trying to write a book, this helps come up with new ideas. Obviously, not the entire thing. This is definitely more for social media, but it definitely gets the mind flowing, right? So find links and post them into your list. All right, so I went on Instagram and I made a list of all of these ideas. And check this out. All I did was, again, I didn't even go to YouTube or none of the other. I just went straight to Instagram, the Reels specifically, right? A lot of times Reels perform best in as the making of this video, in case you're seeing this later and things change. Things change rapidly online. So if I would have checked some of the other ones, I'm sure I would have found other ideas. Now, here's the trick, right? When you're gathering inspiration, don't write down what the idea or concept is. Write down what the idea or concept speaks to you. And so, of course, some of these are just the exact idea. I mean, you can do that too. I'm not saying don't do that. But here's a list, right? And these are things that I saw that attracted me. Now, you yourself, if you're an agency building content for a client, you want to have a good understanding of the feel and style your client likes to go for, whether they're more funny, more serious, things like that. But in this instance, I went for what attracted me as I was going through the skits. So I'll just go through them real quick here. There's a skit about oversharing, about being a realtor. So it was a realtor. I said that weird, and they're hanging out with friends, and they're like the friends are bringing up stuff about a house or home buying, and they keep saying, "Oh, I'm a realtor. Talk to me." And they keep like handing out their card, but like they're doing it over and over, and like trying to force home buying into each conversation topic, and it's pretty hilarious. And it's kind of like you're laughing at yourself, but people will be like, "Oh, okay, this realtor gets it, right? They're not here to." What's the message behind the joke? You know what I mean? So this realtor understands what I might feel like I'm going through, so they're more likely to follow you, for the funny, for your personality, all that good stuff. So skits do really well nowadays. This also helps with skit writing, going through these ideas. There's a skit about a couple judging homes that they walk past. I've seen this, and I think some of it had to do with Christmas. It's around Christmas time of the making of this video. And the couples walk by and make fun of the decorations, or they'll walk by. The one I saw was they're just walking by a neighborhood and they're like judging things about a house and stuff like that. So doing something funny about how people are quick to judge homes, but don't like take the time to appreciate how each home is different and what the actual benefits of it are, whether it's the area or good bones, things like that. People saying realtors get paid too much. So this is something that I've seen trending lately. It's been a comment that people are addressing. There's one where realtors, it's like showing stock photos of realtors talking to clients, and they're just signing papers. And the comment says, realtors get paid like over $20,000 for sending a DocuSign and taking a few photos. Obviously, realtors do way much more than that. It's a lot of hard work. But that's the perspective of a buyer sometimes. It's like, why do you get, this much percentage from the entire purchase price when all you did was, show me a couple houses and send a DocuSign? But there's a lot behind. So addressing things like that, obviously that's trending now, might not be trending for a long time. Next one here was podcast style interview bites. So whether you're interviewing a testimonial, so someone that bought a home with you, or another realtor, and you guys are talking about the industry, because home buyers are interested. They want to know, what's going on. They want to be informed. Unless, every buyer is different, right? Unless they really don't care. But that's why it goes back to your brand avatar. What questions are they asking? So podcast interview style bites, podcast interview sound bites do really well recently, because they get straight to the point. It has conditioned the viewer online to know, okay, we're going to get straight to the point on this. Next one here is changes coming to the industry. This goes along with podcast bites, but this would be like a regular talking head. So like an example here is me at my desk, right? and I'm talking about this. So you could be at your desk, things like that. That's always good. Quick sound bites that aren't interview style or podcast style, but they're still quick sound bites. You talking, people get to know you, build trust, they see your face, things like that. Next one is showing your personality walking through a listing or area. This one's similar, but there's movement. You're walking. Movement helps a lot with retention. When there's a video of you just standing and a video of someone walking or doing movements or even doing an activity, that gets a lot more. So instead of just showing a clip of, walk through a house, have yourself walking through it in selfie mode on your phone, or just recording yourself, and you're talking about it. It could be the property itself, or it could be just information in general. So these three are similar in a sense that, well, they're different video types, but they're similar in the sense that the topics could be interchangeable. This one here, voiceover with green screen. So let's say you don't have time to get a video walkthrough of a house. There's just a few photos you snag. You could still do a green screen voiceover. So that's a green screen effect. So it cuts you out and you're like in the bottom corner somewhere and you're just kind of going through the photos. It's still a video and you can still add text, captions. So it's still a full on video. It's holding their attention. There's movement in the video. The photos are changing rather quickly. You're not just sitting on one, but it's a quicker way. You don't have to go out to the property, but you're still showing your personality. You're still getting FaceTime with the viewer and building that trust there. One of the rules of content is community comes from proximity. So the more you can be around and in front of your potential buyer, your brand avatar, the more likely they are to connect with you or engage with you. And from there, of course, that leads to a contract, a contact, and a sale. Then the last one I wrote here was tips for having a smooth experience. Again, this goes along with some of the talking ones. So that's really more of a talking point than an actual video idea. So those are the ideas I came up with in my inspiration gathering. So I'm doing this just completely off the top here. None of this was pre-scripted. So we're going through this together. And I don't work with realtors too often. So this isn't something that I premeditated. These are just things that are coming off the top of my head, right? So associated words. And this one here, you really do, and there's descriptions on the PDF doc. When you say the topic or goal out loud, what comes to mind? So the goal is to make just a word dump list, right? So when you think of you're a realtor building content, so we go back to our goal. We're a realtor wanting to attract home buyers. So when you think of a realtor, let me mark it down real quick. Associated words. And the reason why this is important is because when you just do a word dump, you'll be able to filter your thoughts a lot clearer than trying to go through them in your head. You're making a physical list and you're just going, and then when you're writing them down, your thoughts can expand on the last word that you wrote down. So in your mind, it's kind of like one by one, and they're kind of dissolving in your head. But when you write them down, they expand on each other. So it's like an idea that webs out. So let me write down a few here. All right, so here's my list of word dump I made with associated words. So far, we've written down our topic, we've gathered our inspiration, and now I just did a word dump of associated words. And I'll just go through it real quick, and you'll see kind of how the next word or phrase was rabbit trailed from the one before, right? So first we started off, okay, I'm a realtor. It takes a level of sales. I'm trying to attract home buyers. Home buyers can be picky. Picky means they're indecisive. Indecisive reminds me of how there are probably hundreds, thousands of realtors near me. There's a lot in the industry. I'm not sure what it's like now. Interest rates have gone up, blah, blah, blah. And then it makes me think, okay, some realtors are newbies. Some home buyers are newbies. So newbies goes on both sides. There's might be families looking for a home. Is that the main avatar? It got me thinking of kids' rooms. Sometimes families will think of, we'll look out for, okay, this is where my kids are going to grow up. I want to make sure the kids' rooms are doing great. Then it reminded me of Extreme Makeover Home Edition, how they were making kids' rooms just totally off the wall, pun intended. Hey, you like horses. I mean, they'll just make the bed a horse, the wall a horse, the door a horse. It's totally random. So that alone could be a totally funny series of skits there, right? Extreme Overcoat. That was something we all kind of watched back in the mid 2000s. Then it got me thinking about neighborhoods. How some neighborhoods can be rough. That could be a funny skit. Or just informational content. Got me thinking about safety for the home buyer, to be safe, but also for the realtor doing showings, how that could feel sketchy sometimes. And then it got me thinking about the Crime Near Me website, where you could look up and it shows you little dots of all the crime in the area. And then schools near me. And then it got me thinking about how realtors or home buyers think a lot about the benefits in the area. So what are some of the benefits in the area? So living in Central California, there's so many benefits people don't think about. You're close to the beach, you're close to the mountains, you're close to the forest, you can go camping, you can go surfing. And you could do a lot here too. The weather's nice about more than half the year. Sometimes it's too warm, sometimes it's too cold, but there's so much to do. There's theaters, there's lakes, there's everything. So what are some of the benefits that people might be missing? Is your realtor doing it right? So people might be thinking, did I pick the right realtor? So you can just give some information. Not that you're putting down other realtors, you're just you're giving out information. And that got me thinking about activities in the area. What are some cool restaurants or theaters or shows or attractions or events, things like that people can do in the area they might not know of or that might not be that well known. A day in the life of someone who lives there. So again, all these ideas are just one after the other, feeding off the one before. So a day in the life of someone who lives there. So that could be like, hey, if you live in this neighborhood, this is what your day might look like. And then you find a house, and so you can kind of film yourself going through the day. Oh, you'll wake up in this room, and well, if it's a furnished house, it might be a little easier. But if it's empty, you might not. But you're kind of going through the day, and then you're driving and you're showing the road. Be careful, don't use your cell phone while you drive. Right, find a way to rig it to the car or something. But this is where you would drive through. This is the coffee shop you'd go through. On your way back to work, this is probably the restaurant you'd stop at. On the weekends, it's probably the theater you'll go to. So making like a reel like that, people be like, oh shoot, all that is in that area. This is where you drop off your kids and you show the school, things like that. If you have a video guy on your team, someone like me, you can have them go with you. They'll film you, and they'll be a lot more high end as opposed to cell phone clip. They get some drone shots of the area, the neighborhood, the school, things like that. And this is all, we're still on prompt number 3. So, and there's a plethora of ideas, I feel like, that we have been able to come up with. And then from there, my mind just went through, can I trust the realtor? So you can make videos like how to know if you can trust your realtor. These are the things to look out for. Am I getting the best deal? These are the things to look out for. Is your inspector doing a good job? This was huge for me when we were buying our home. I'm like, dude, how is this guy down? I mean, he was so vague with his answers. I'm like, dude, is there mold here? Oh, let me check with my, he has a little thermal camera. No, it looks good to me. It's like, okay, can you expand on that? Why does it look good to you? Maybe not everyone's like me, but this was hilarious to me, right? So, and then realtors showing you around with different personalities. So this actually goes along with research. That's why you do the inspiration gathering first, because then your mind just is already running. You've seen ideas, and then boom, the associated word dump just takes off, right? I could have kept going, really. So now let's go to this next one. Prompt number 4, common problems and solutions. Now on this one here, there might have been, there's going to be some redundancies you'll see. So in the inspiration, there might be some common problems already addressed, as well as the associated words. But if you look at prompt number 5, it's going to be a majority experience. So again, people are going to experience the same problems and similar solutions. But what we're doing is we're filtering out everything in our mind. We're filtering it out. You're letting your mind run. You're thinking outside the box. No idea is a dumb idea. You're writing everything down, because the goal is to take the content goal and to have a huge list you can pick from. And that's what people are trying to do with AI and ChatGPT and this and that. They're trying to just get the biggest list of ideas, and they pick the best one, or they make it their own. Or at least I hope you're making it your own. But we're doing it with your mind, because AI will never have the exact same experience that you've had as a business owner or agency owner that's doing this for a client. Every mind is different. And so doing this in groups is also very powerful, because you have a room of 3 to 4 people. You might not even finish all 10 prompts, and you already have a ton of ideas by question 3 or 4. So I'm going to make a quick list here of common problem solutions, and then we'll jump into number 5 as well and go through those lists. All right, so I have 2 short lists here. And now, for the sake of time, I did look these up with AI, and I asked, what are the most common problems with our goal, right? So we got to go back up, scroll back up. Our goal is to attract home buyers for a realtor. As a realtor, our goal is to attract home buyers. So what are some common problems that realtors face? Lots of competition, not many homes, high interest rates. Um, Receiving qualified leads. Some people are just tire kickers. Online visibility, local competition. Maybe someone's outshining you, whatever it might be. Rising prices, a fluctuation in the market and economy, and then follow-ups and communication. Communication is huge, I would say, in any industry, but real estate, for sure, it's massive. And so having um a CRM where you can control and manage communications with clients. Shameless plug. We have CRM services. Me myself. If that's something you're interested, let me know. Homebuyer problems and solutions. So we're still on the problems topic. Homebuyers, they have limited knowledge. They don't know what they're looking for. They don't know what they like. They don't know what they can afford. They don't know what they need to do to afford it. They might have, there's just so much that the homebuyer might not know. A lack of personalization. This one I think is huge. It could become very transactional, very, hey, this is what you can get. Are you ready to sign? It's like, hold on, they need a little bit of personality in this huge decision, right? Especially for new home buyers, and if they're investors, they do this every week. But having that personalization creates that connection. Limited availability on the home buyer's part. It's hard for them to get a hold of somebody because they're finding realtors that are too busy or they're too busy. It's hard for them to find someone they trust. Maybe they've heard bad stories or had a bad experience. Limited tech ability. They aren't able to find, things online or things like that as far as home searches, or even getting more information. They're just limited on their tech depending on what generation they're from. And there's insufficient networking, so they just don't know that many people. So these are some problems that they all face. So what are some common solutions? I'm going to add right below it the list of that. All right, so here I have a list of the problems and solutions. Again, I did use AI to generate these. For the sake of time, there's not as much personal research I have behind realtors and the real estate market. So this was the quickest way for me to obtain this information, as well as, just makes sense for the industry. So as I go through them, right, there's common problem solutions for realtors, there are common problem solutions for home buyers. So there's lots of competition. Proposed solutions focus on an area or niche. Not many homes available. Build connections to access off-market listings. High interest rates. Provide resources and knowledge to help clients navigate their options. Qualified leads. Lack of qualified leads. Target your brand avatar in their place in life. So that's basically getting real specific on who you're targeting, and you're speaking directly to them. You'll talk differently with different people, right? Even in person, somebody's a different generation, a different age, or maybe a different place in life. You can't talk to everyone the same. So having a clear brand avatar is very important. A realtor struggling with online visibility, collaborate with the marketing specialist on best practices. Local competition, highlight unique selling points for your service. There's a realtor that I know that he offers a free moving truck. I mean, a giant. It's not just a rental. He doesn't shoot you some change for a rental. He has an entire truck with his face on the side and their logo and everything for free, and he just gives them the keys. Hey, go ahead and move. I'm like, man, that really stands out, especially because you see the truck all over town. Super smart. Rising prices, offer education and alternatives. So just a lot of information. Follow-ups and communication, CRM systems, and task manager, as we mentioned before. Home buyers, problems and solutions. They have limited knowledge, so you can provide comprehensive guides or workshops. The reason I found my realtor was through a workshop. It was really interesting. All it was an invitation just to learn more, and that's all people need sometimes, is just an invitation to learn more, and then that's where the trust gets built, and then boom, one thing leads to another, and you're selling them a home, and you're great friends. Lack of personalization, offer specialized services or coffee meetings. You can't emphasize enough. Over communicating is a safe way to go. Limited availability. Have a team collaboration. So you have yourself and a couple of the realtors that you can. If you have a limited availability, or the home buyer does, find a way to stay in touch with them, whether it's through different people or different platforms. A home buyer, has a problem with trust. Showcase testimonials and have a clear path for updates. So you can tell them, hey, this is what we're going to experience. This is what you can expect. Okay, this is really cool. And these are people that have gone through it. Really eases the tension, eases the sales resistance. Limited tech ability. This is something that's really cool. Have video courses. Have an actual full on course. Now my CRM software can host a course for you, and so if you were to build one out and you just have them create a free login, they go in, boom, they could learn a ton of stuff on there. They could be short and sweet, or you're like, wow, I just rather post them. You can have a series that you post, whether it's on YouTube or Instagram, and you can send people. Do you have common questions that you run into? If someone's like, hey, what about this and this, and you just send them the link to the post or the YouTube video, and they're like, oh, cool, this is like a 20-minute talk on my exact question. So instead of you getting on the phone every week or every couple of days, you can send people these videos. They get to know you in the video, but they're informed. They can watch it at their leisure, and you avoid having to take all these phone calls, right? And talk to people in person, unless you have to. Of course, that could be counterproductive to the lack of personalization. Really, it depends on how you look at it. You can follow up with them. Hey, did you get a chance to see the video? Here are the points. Or you can send them other stuff if they have more questions. Insufficient networking. So encourage now this one might not be relevant, but if the home buyer doesn't have insufficient networking, it might not be relevant to a specific industry. So now we're moving on to prompt number 5, and that's the majority experience. Now, we have listed the majority experience in some of the associated words, as well as common problems and solutions. What sets your product or service apart from competitors? So we already marked that in some of the solutions here. For your specific, this is going to apply to your specific situation. So only you know this. I can't write this down for you. That's why this is a practice that an agency will do for the client, or if you're a business owner, you're going to do this for your coffee shop, your sales firm, or your sales team, or your real estate practice, a dental practice, whatever it is, whatever kind of business you're in. You know what your unique selling points are. You need to write them all down. Whether you think they're common or uncommon, write them all down. And so this is specific to each situation, so I won't make a list on that. Next here is large items and small items. So think of large items, and these are two different prompts as well. So think of large items or even metaphors that relate to your product or service. They can be physical or emotional. So something large is a key. So oftentimes people will have a large key that they hand, and it's perfect for a photo op. Then they use that photo op, posts on social media, and that's perfect for a testimonial. They can write down the person's name, or if that person's well known in town, then their viewership pool is a lot higher, and they're like, oh wow, they bought a home through this person, right? So things like that. I'm gonna go ahead and make a list of large and small just to give you an example. We'll go through them real quick, and we're almost at the end here. All right, before I move on, if you'll look with me here, I made a quick list of the X factors. And this is, again, a list generated with AI, and as well as something I have seen from the outside looking in on the industry. These are some X factors that might be common and might not be common. So I'll go through them fairly quickly here. Specialized realtor, right? So it could be a certain property type. Of course, a lot of people would love to be a luxury realtor. Ranch realtor, that's common. Eco-friendly realtor, historic, maybe specialized in historic properties. Multifamily, there's something really cool that's been really intriguing. So it could be more along the lines of investing, so helping home buyers transition into investing in real estate, things like that, right? So what do you specialize in? Is it super general? You'll help everybody and anybody, or is there a very specific type of person that you're looking for that is looking to achieve a specific goal, right? Exceptional experience. This could be a plethora of things. Some of them are listed below, so I'll keep going. Advanced tech, so drone work, online portal. How I was talking about, the CRM. You have an online portal where they could submit any question anytime. Of course, there's text, phone calls, and email, but the online portal could have more resources like links, documents, testimonials, what do they call it? Blog posts, articles, things like that. Resources. So having more advanced tech, right? For that exceptional experience. A unique approach. This was something I wrote down. I'm not sure if this has been done before, or is just cost way too much. But again, this is your opportunity to think completely outside the box, right? So we're looking to create content. We're just exploring every single avenue of this workflow and experience for the goal, as well as the person wanting to achieve the goal. So that's, in this instance, is the client and the buyer. I mean, the realtor and the buyer. So I wrote down limo service and dinner. So imagine this, right? You're a realtor and you have a buyer, and they're getting ready to close or something like that. Obviously, it's not for sure until everything closes and goes through and all that good stuff. Things can always fall through. So this could be something that might not be worth it, especially because limo service and a dinner can be pretty costly. I mean, a gift card could easily replace this. But imagine you have a home buyer and they've picked their home, and to celebrate their key day, you get them a limo service and a dinner, right? I've heard of, there's flowers or a bottle of wine or something, but what's that next level that you can take things to, right? So the home buyer, they're just completely mentally exhausted. They've been packing all their stuff. They get their key. They're like, oh my goodness. And you show up, their realtor, hey, it's been an awesome process. I hope you've had an amazing experience. Just to congratulate you, I ordered you a limo and a dinner. What day do you want to do that? Those home buyers are going to be like, oh my goodness, we've been needing this time to relax, or like, so let's say they have children. Hey, I got you childcare and movie tickets, right? How can you give them an experience? Or if you get to know them, they're avid skiers, or say, hey, I got you tickets for the ski resort. It takes a little bit more on the realtor's part, but something a mentor told me before, givers get. So you got to be a giver. How much can you give? What more can you give? What are different options for giving? And we mostly think of getting, but giving always comes before the getting. And then so, gifts on phases. So there could be, swag on the first few. Hey, thanks for picking me as your realtor. Here's the congratulations on seeing some houses with me. And it could be like, a fun plaque. It could be something funny, and a t-shirt and a hat, a mug. They might never use it, but it's little gifts along the way. Community engagement, charity. So one thing I heard a realtor did was he built a local YouTube show. I'm not sure if it was like a TV show, but he would, how we were talking about the local events and activities and things like that, restaurants and so on, he would interview the different places. So he would go review them and interview the owners, or just kind of go there and do a review. That's really cool because it's in his area. People want to know what's going on, stay in the know. Obviously in the positive, because the news always gives us all the negative. And so what's something positive? What's some news that you could share that goes beyond a blog post or a quick article? Hey, check out this restaurant. They have this post. That restaurant posted that same thing. Like, what can you do that goes beyond that, right? And then as well as charity. Hey, we're raising, Toys for Tots, or, we're raising funds for this charity. Or you could even say like, part of, this contract is going to go to, this charity. I'm not sure exactly what's allowed in the industry, because I know there's regulations are always changing, but is there a way to involve charity somehow, right? I'm just going through the list here. Negotiation skills, is that something that's an X factor that you can share in the testimonials? Hey, I'm always able to, I have certain connections for this or that, and people are like, oh wow, okay, this stands out. He's not just a realtor that I can find on Zillow or anywhere. They have unique connections or unique skill sets that can help me get beyond transparency. Again, that just comes in with information and being open, kind of letting down that corporate veil and just being more open with people. Exclusive finance options. Again, these are just things for the X factor. This one was really cool. After sales support. I'm not sure if a lot of people experience this. I myself just got completely ghosted by everyone after I bought my home. I had no idea who they were. Again, they don't want to bother you too, so that's probably a good side of it. People don't want their Uber driver to talk to them. People could take that as rude, but some people are like, oh, I love it. So that's probably more what it was. No blame on them. I'm pretty sure that's totally normal in the industry. I like to be informed. And so, not having after sales support, I did have, I'm exaggerating. I did have after sales support, but what I'm saying is, how could you take that farther? How could you take it to that next step? Could there be a newsletter, maintenance tips, renovation, or access to people that can give them a good deal on, say, there's a kitchen renovation, or maybe they're a family interested in investing. Is there a track you can put them on to learn how to invest and set up phases? Because more than likely, they're going to use you as a realtor to do that investment deal. or whatever it is that they want to do, or is their after sale support unique to that buyer, right? So that was just a quick list of X factor. You can make your own, or pick some that you can jump into and add to your profession. All right, so here I filled in prompts number 7 and 8, 9, 7, 8, 9. Oh, sorry, made a mistake. Let me fix. So it turns out I missed one of the points here, as you might have caught. There's number 5, which is majority experience. Now this is interesting. Again, I just wrote here in parentheses, it's okay to be redundant because these are some things you might have already addressed on this list already. Now this could be unique to your location, to your specific field. If you do have a specialty, this can be unique to the specialty. And this part is also very important because it just helps you flesh out more ideas. I went ahead and jumped ahead to the X factors we went through earlier. And I did the large items and small items association, right? Now, what is this? You're literally listing physical. I wrote here, right? So it's related to the product or service. It can be physical or emotional. So it could be almost literally anything. So I just did another word dump. House, moving truck, stress of moving, large amounts of money exchanged, large parts of the house, lots of driving to find the property. So that's more of an emotional thing. Like, man, that's a lot of driving. The amount of the road could be one of the things, right? So you're literally writing large and small things. Now, the purpose of this exercise is twofold. You'll see the main reason coming up on prompt 9, which is the big small effect. But it really kind of pulls you back from trying to think of ideas, and you're really just doing another word dump to get outside the box, right? So this whole practice is to get you outside the box. A lot of times we're closed off for whatever reason, or our mind isn't free to wander and come up with and generate new ideas. Again, one of my favorite quotes is, thinking is the hardest work people never do. So this is just a time to really sit and think. And so again, this word dump makes it easy. House, moving truck, large parts of the house. I'll skip down here. A big stack of paperwork, billboards for realtors, real estate agencies. Small items association, right? So keys, small frustration, missed calls, too many calls, failed deals. Signatures are small. Key box, loose nails or loose floorboards, bad photos or videos, business cards, coffee cup. So as you can see, this is literally just a word dump of words associated with the industry, the X factor, just words associated with everything we've written down. And then now we go to the big small effect. What's the big small effect? I believe it's from a book. I should have pulled up the reference. I don't have exactly what the book is, but the big small effect, I wrote it down here. How can you apply the big small effect to your content strategy? Making something small large, or large small. This is in reference to making the content. Now, in we want to be entertaining, so I lean on the side of making something funny. So here's a list of content, another list of content ideas that I made using the big small effect. So right here I wrote a skit about huge cars parked by tiny homes. So now you're flipping it. Usually people have tiny smart cars parked by large homes, or regular sized cars, and then the home's big. But the idea is we're making something small big and something big small, right? So photoshopping a monster truck next to a tiny home, and make a skit about that, or something like that. So something with a tiny home, a skit about open house in a tiny home, but it's like really drawn out and long. So here's the living room, here's the kitchen, and if you walk with me over here and then you like inch over 2 steps, here's the bedroom, and then you inch over, something funny along those lines. Again, we're making something small large or large small, whether it's physical or emotional. So skit about weightlifting contract papers. So it could be a bodybuilder at the gym, and he's like lifting heavy weights, and the camera zooms out, and it's just home contract papers, right? That could be a funny ad. A skit about homes being traded like collector's cards. This is actually this is a trend I've seen a TikToker do. He just makes collector cards about totally random topics. I think he custom makes them because they don't exist, but they're just absolutely hilarious. So what if like you had like 2 people and they're like, oh, I'll trade you, this or that, or you could do Monopoly, but instead of the names, the boardwalk, this and that, railroad, it's like sections of your actual town. And then it could be a funny skit where it's like, hey, I'll sell you, this north side, blah, 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 for this. And then they're showing like actual cards. So that could be a funny way, like, oh, what are they doing? So it's like a funny, a new way. So we're making something large, small. Competition of realtors to see who can take the worst photo. This would be hilarious. So two realtors get together, like, all right, you ready to take these photos? And then they're just like running and they're all blurry. And like he's eating chicken wings, rubs them on the lens. He goes, okay, perfect. I'm gonna get and the photo's just completely out of focus. That could be a funny. So these are all just post ideas that came to my mind after filling out this entire page, right? Large destruction done to home from small adjustments. So this goes along with. So I'm going based off some of the key words here and some of the ideas that might have just came to me while I was writing this out. So I was talking about loose nails and floorboards, and so there's this. I think there might have even been an actual TV commercial similar to this, but it was more along the lines of like construction and renovation. But this one's like, let's say there's a realtor showing you around, and there's a nail sticking out. You go, oh, that's okay, and then they wiggle it, or they try to hide it or something, put a hat on it, and then the whole wall falls down, or like their hand goes through the drywall or something like that. Next one is signing with a giant pen. I just put that in there. Because of the signatures of small things. So we're just taking small things, making them large, and large things, making them small, and turning it into a post that could appeal to the hit the 3 R's with our brand avatar. So giant business card exchange. So that can go along with the skit we talked about earlier, where realtors at a dinner party always trying to squeeze real estate into every conversation. And so it would be hilarious if they had like just those giant cards from like, the poster boards, and you just somehow printed or drew on like a business card, and there's just like a stack of them sitting there. So the skit is they try to hand them out, but it's just so big and obvious and cumbersome and in the way, and that's how it feels like when you try to force real estate into. So you see how it could become a funny skit. Large key to a large keyhole. So you know how people always have those large keys. Oh, that's his next idea. I'm not sure if you can see it because my circle's in the way here. So I put right here, large key to large keyhole. So when someone hands a new home buyer that large key for the photo op, it actually goes to a giant keyhole. So just build one out of cardboard or something and be like, no, this is your actual key, and here's a giant keychain. And you get like a giant like ring or something by like a large metal ring, or you just get something round and be like, oh, this is your keychain. It's just like a funny skit. And then a coffee meeting with different personalities. So you were getting a personality, or maybe untrustworthiness, right? So we take an emotion or personality trait and make it large. So it's a coffee meeting with a bunch of random, like really exaggerated personalities. But it could be the same person. They're just putting on different things. People do skits with different clothes or wig or glasses. So that's a funny skit there. So we have a bunch of ideas at the top, and as you go through, you're able to flesh out your own personal ideas and goals for your business, but also there's a bunch of ideas at the bottom as well. So now we've gone through, we're about over 40 minutes in, and there's several ideas we can pick from on here. And what's cool is you can make some of these ideas an entire series. So the informational testimonial series, the informational series, frequently asked questions is the easy one. Now here's prompt number 10. You ready? You start from the top of the page, read through what you've written so far, and just do another idea dump. It's just a list, a word dump. So you read the page from top to bottom and just dump out as many more ideas as you can think of. Now, the reason why you read from top to bottom is because you refresh yourself. And realistically, you'd be about an hour and a half to 2 hours in on this worksheet, just letting your mind run, doing online research, and you're just thinking. You're thinking, and you go back through, and then boom. It's almost like you're slowly opening the box, your mind, right? And then once we get to the last one, you go back, you read it through again, and your mind is in a totally different state. It's in a totally different flow. And then you're going to be surprised to see, boom. So if I were to make this video twice as long and sit here and just reread this with you, I would probably come up with 10 more ideas. But one of the reason why it's called low-hanging fruit is you just write out dumb ideas, simple ideas, common ideas, any ideas that come to mind, right? So house walkthrough, whatever it is, something super common, and you'll be surprised how many more ideas you come up with. So that's it. Those are the 10 prompts. This is what my content idea engine worksheet looks like after I filled it out. We went through a bunch of different topics and options. We did a bunch of research together. So let me know how your results go. I'm excited to see what you think. And if you need help building a brand avatar, don't hesitate to message me back on where I sent you the link to this video. Have a good one. Bye-bye.